For many people, birthdays are a major event. They plan parties, wait for midnight messages, post photos online, and expect the entire day to feel special. But then there's another type of person. The person who treats their birthday like it's just another normal day. No party, no excitement, no big celebration. Sometimes they even forget it themselves. And to other people, that can seem strange. Why don't they care? Are they sad? Do they hate birthdays? Are they lonely? But psychologically, the answer is much deeper than that. Because people who treat birthdays like normal days often think very differently about attention, emotions, expectations, and even life itself. And today we're going to explore the psychology behind it. 1. They don't need external validation. One of the biggest psychological reasons some people don't care about birthdays is simple. They don't depend heavily on external validation. For many people, birthdays feel important because they become a moment of attention. Messages, calls, social media posts, gifts, surprises. All of these things create a feeling of being valued, and there's nothing wrong with that. Humans naturally want connection and appreciation, but some people stop attaching their self-worth to those moments. They don't need one specific day to feel important. And psychologically, this often shows emotional independence. 2. They associate birthdays with pressure. For some people, birthdays are not exciting. They're stressful. Think about what birthdays often involve. Expectations, social pressure, the planning, responding to messages, acting happy all day. Some people feel emotionally exhausted by that, especially introverts. When the world expects you to suddenly become the center of attention, it can create anxiety instead of joy. Treating it like a normal day becomes psychologically safer and more comfortable. 3. They've learned not to expect too much. This reason is deeper. Some people stop celebrating birthdays because life taught them not to expect much. Maybe they had birthdays where nobody showed up. People forgot, family problems ruined the day. If you expect less, you feel less disappointed. So eventually, birthdays stop feeling emotionally important. Not because the person is cold, but because disappointment changed their relationship with celebration. 4. They value time differently. As people grow older, many stop seeing birthdays as exciting milestones. Instead, they start thinking about time differently. As children, birthdays feel magical because life feels long, aging feels exciting, every year feels like growth. But adulthood changes perspective. That emotional reflection often becomes stronger than the excitement itself. 5. Introverts process happiness privately. Not everybody expresses happiness loudly. This is important to understand. Some people deeply enjoy their birthday, but quietly. So when they treat birthdays normally, it doesn't always mean sadness. Sometimes it simply means their version of happiness is quieter than other people's. 6. They don't want fake attention. This is extremely common in modern culture. Social media changed birthdays dramatically. A person who ignored you all year suddenly posts, "Happy birthday! Love you so much." Psychologically, this can feel emotionally fake. Some people would rather receive genuine care throughout the year than temporary attention for one day. So they emotionally disconnect from birthday culture completely. 7. Some people fear. Yay. Now, let's talk about something deeper. Aging anxiety. Not everyone experiences birthdays positively. For some people, birthdays trigger fear of getting older, fear of losing time, fear of mortality, fear of unachieved goals. So emotionally distancing themselves from birthdays becomes a coping mechanism. 8. Minimalist personalities often don't care. Some people naturally avoid unnecessary emotional rituals, and birthdays often fall into that category for them. This doesn't mean they are cold or unfeeling. It simply reflects a more minimalist and practical mindset. For these individuals, a birthday is not something that requires special attention or celebration. Instead, they see it as just another normal date in the calendar. There's no emotional need to elevate one day above others, not concentrated into a single celebration. In many cases, this approach actually creates emotional stability. By not relying on birthdays or other symbolic occasions for happiness, they avoid the emotional highs and lows that come with expectation and disappointment. Ultimately, minimalist personalities don't reject birthdays out of negativity. They simply prefer a lifestyle where every day holds equal value and emotional balance matters more than occasional celebration. 9. Trauma can change birthday. Emotions. Sometimes, the reason people treat their birthday like a normal day goes much deeper than personality or preference. It can be strongly connected to emotional experiences and past trauma that the person may not even fully realize is influencing them. The human brain is designed to store emotional experiences very strongly. It doesn't just remember events, it remembers how those events felt. Because of this, even many years later, birthdays can quietly trigger feelings of sadness, discomfort, anxiety, or emotional emptiness without a clear or conscious reason. This is why some people appear distant, quiet, or emotionally neutral on their birthday. They are not always consciously choosing to ignore the day. Instead, their emotional response may be shaped by memories stored deep in their subconscious mind. So it's important to understand that this behavior is not always about disliking birthdays or being ungrateful. In many cases, it is about emotional memory and how the brain protects itself from revisiting past pain. 10. They find meaning in ordinary days. Here's one of the healthiest psychological reasons. Some people stop obsessing over birthdays because they no longer believe happiness should depend on one date. It's built from daily emotional stability. 11. Independence changes celebration habits. As people become emotionally independent, their relationship with celebration changes. Children depend on others to create joy. Adults slowly learn to create their own peace. Psychology of people who treat their birthday like a normal day. What if I told you some people don't get excited about their birthday at all? No party, no countdown, no big celebration, and it's not always because they're sad. There's also a group of people who believe something simple. Why should one day be more important than the rest? They find meaning in everyday life, not just one date on the calendar. So when someone treats their birthday like a normal day, it's not always sadness. Sometimes it's emotional independence, personality, or mindset. Because not everyone celebrates loudly. Some people simply prefer peace over attention. And psychologically, emotionally mature people often stop needing public celebration to feel fulfilled. That's why some people travel alone on birthdays, stay offline, work normally, or avoid mentioning it completely. Not because they hate life, but because they no longer need external events to define their happiness. 12. The bigger truth. At the end of the day, people who treat birthdays like normal days are not all the same. Some are peaceful, some are protective, some are introverted, some are emotionally tired, and some simply see life differently. But psychologically, one thing is clear. How someone treats their birthday often reveals how they relate to attention expectations, self-worth, time, and emotional connection. Because birthdays are never just about cake or gifts. Sometimes, they quietly reveal a person's entire emotional philosophy. So the next time someone treats their birthday like it's just another normal day, don't assume they're unhappy. Maybe they've simply learned not to expect too much, not to depend on attention, or to find meaning in quieter things, because not everyone celebrates happiness loudly. Some people celebrate it silently and peacefully. And honestly, there's something deeply psychological about that.